Now that you've had time to see the play and everything, what do you think about the red card and the suspension that you're going to have to serve in this game against Belgium?
Yeah, I think it was, for me, it's important for me to say, obviously, first and foremost, it was totally unintentional, which I'm sure a lot of people know. But I think the choice of the referee was, of course, his choice, but I don't think it was the correct call. I think a yellow card would have been fair, just due to it not being intentional, and also there's not many places I can place my foot in such a scenario. But I think it's happened, and it's something I have to accept and just move forward from.
Now, can you take us through those few minutes, like while you were waiting for the call, just standing there, and then I think you stood there for just like 20 seconds after he showed you the red card. Like, what was going through your head?
Yeah, just a ton of emotion. It's difficult, to see red at any time, but especially now, in such a high pressure tournament, such a high pressure situation, and there was many emotions, but for me the most important thing was just trying to stay calm. I think I didn't want to react out of emotion, out of anger, and I had to just accept that the decision was made, whether I agreed with it or not, and just try to also think about how I can help moving forward.
When you went into that challenge, did you think anything of it? Were you surprised when all of a sudden the VAR?
Yeah, extremely surprised. I initially thought the ref was actually going to give a call for me because there was a shove in the back, but this is the nature of the sport as well. This is what makes the sport so interesting, so engaging. The controversy, and you've seen it in so many different actions during the World Cup, not just with us in the USA, with other teams. And yeah, as I said, it's something I have to just accept. And we still won the game, which is the main positive. And we have to prepare for the game against Belgium.
Teammates tell you afterwards, or days since, about trying to fill in the team suspended.
Yeah, everybody was supporting me, which I greatly appreciate. Not just my teammates, the fans. I felt the love from the country as a whole. So that makes it easier for me to be able to move forward from this, even though it'll be extremely difficult.
Valo, as you've said, what happened can happen, right? It's now about moving on. Can you talk about just how you are going to be able to show up and support the guys as they take on Belgium?
No, for sure. I'm going to be there in any way I can to help the team. The most important thing is just making sure the guys are equipped to go out there and shine. And I want to be somebody they can come to if they need advice or if they need help. And I'm gonna definitely show my support to the fullest.
Did you see LeBron repost the celebrations, and how did you feel about it? Do you think it will close the gap between the soccer and the basketball?
Yeah, I saw LeBron's tweet. That was a surreal moment. That was amazing. I think that's the idea. I think we're all athletes at the end of the day. Representing our country, trying to make the nation as proud as possible. So I think we should be united, and America is a stronger force when we're united. So definitely with that celebration and LeBron reaching out, it was. I feel like it's going to be an iconic moment.
Malik is such a quiet guy in front of us. What's he like with you?
He's no different. Exact same.
How would you describe what it's like to know that your team is getting ready to play a round of 16 match in a World Cup, and you can't be out there when you're in such good form at this point?
Yeah, as you can imagine, it's frustrating, but what can you do? I can't sit here and dwell. I mean, the most important thing, as I said, is just to focus on that game and to try and prepare the team as best as possible. And there's no reason as well, why we can't go out there and continue to win as we have been, and show the world, what USA is about.
Good morning.
Tyler, last time the US played Belgium, you weren't there, Richards wasn't there, Dest wasn't there, Freeze didn't play. Now you're going to have to do it without Balogun. What's the challenge to beat this team like Belgium this season?
Yeah, it's a huge challenge. Obviously, they have so much quality all over the field. That being said, we have a belief that we have a lot of quality all over the field as well. So we think it's going to be a great duel, but we obviously have to manage situations in certain parts of the field, win our duels, and be competitive. And ultimately, that can hopefully lead to a win.
What did it tell you about the way the team reacted when you lost Balogun in that game against Belgium?
Yeah, I think in a sense, I think for a lot of those players on the field, I don't want to say it felt like deja vu, but I know we went through a Copa America situation where we went down a man, and it felt like we had been in that experience before, and we knew what to do and we knew how to rally. Whereas I think in Copa America, when that happened, and you're already winning 1-0, things changed really quickly and we kind of crumbled a little bit. Whereas in this situation, you saw the relentlessness of the team, the commitment from the team, the guys that came off the bench, the energy that they brought to help us stay in it. And then obviously you need a few moments of brilliance in those kinds of games. Malik to be able to score that goal that he scored and give us a 2-0 lead instead of a 1-0 lead gave us that extra belief. When they play the U.S.? They have a lot of talented players all over the field. Again, a lot of guys that I've played against in the Premier League. They create a lot of transition moments. Obviously, that extra bit of quality that they have in the final third is dangerous. So, again, I think there's going to be a lot of transition moments that we need to manage, a lot of key players that we need to manage on their team.
And Tyler, it feels like this team's playing with a chip on your shoulders. Can you just talk about the attitude and grit that you approach games with?
Yeah. I think that's kind of what Americans are built off of, and it's nice to see that in our DNA, the way that we compete every single game, the way that we believe that we can do something special. Again, to go to battle with your brothers next to you and see them go through the same kind of struggle at certain moments. We've put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this thing. It's been a long time on the road, and you want to make it all worth it.
Tyler, what feels different about dealing with a knockout round match here versus 4 years in Qatar?
Yeah, it's really different. I think that, again, it's a lot of experience. I think a lot of it has to do with experience and understanding what the circumstances are, how to manage those moments throughout the game, understanding that you don't need to win the game in the first minute or the 90th minute. There's a lot of moments in between that, and it's the details of the game. And I think you can just see a maturity of the team throughout these moments. When you go up 1-0, when you go down 1-0, understanding how not to concede, how to score goals in the biggest moments, really putting those finishing details on a lot of things. I think you're seeing it start to come to life a little bit more.
Tyler, in your opinion, what kind of energy does the team need to bring to this game in order to beat a team like Belgium?
Yeah, no different than what we've been doing. Again, the opponent may vary, but what we're doing needs to stay consistent throughout this entire process, and that's what we've done since the start of these preparation matches. We've trusted the process that we've been on. Obviously, go further back, we didn't have some of the results that we wanted, but we continue to believe in what we've been doing, and we continue to believe now.
And what stands out to you from your past experience playing in Seattle Stadium in terms of fans, the sounds, the noise, the atmosphere?
Yeah, just to embrace it. We're very fortunate to be having such amazing support as we've had. Specifically Seattle has been unbelievable in hosting us. So it's exciting to come back to a place that feels familiar, that obviously we had the win over Australia and to know that we can expect that same energy again in one of the biggest moments of our careers is really special.
What is Malik like? He's such a quiet guy in front of us. What is he like when he's just around you guys?
Yeah, he's a funny guy. He'll definitely be more quiet with you guys than he is with us, but he's pretty consistent in his personality. A great person to be around. He's a special person.
Any advice for coach in the first pitch?
Sorry?
What makes him special?
He's funny. He gets along with everyone. The banter, everything.
Any advice for coaches against that first pitch tonight at the baseball game?
Nah, you won't be taking suggestions from me. Maybe Matt Turner. I know Matt Turner loves to throw a baseball. Maybe Weston, but not me. I don't play baseball.
Question. Tyler, do you have a memory of watching the U.S.-Belgium game from 2014?
Absolutely. Obviously Tim Howard was unbelievable in that game, and obviously that's a first memory. I remember DeAndre Yedlin breaking onto the scene as well in that game. A lot of special moments. I think the recollection of the World Cups isn't amazing, obviously, but that was one of the biggest games for sure, and I remember watching that.